The 17th day of April, the year being 2024, 1 minute to the top of the hour East African time. You know what? I'm here for one purpose. That purpose is to place you ahead of the curve. Matters News, not only news, but the latest news from across all the 47 counties, true to our name, and even beyond the borders. Welcome to the broadcast. This is TV47 News Now, but first, the highlights. Former Murang'a Governor Mwangi wa Iria's wife arrested and arraigned at Milimani Anti-Corruption Court over 140 million Kenya shillings graft case. Health Cabinet Secretary Susan Nakhumicha defends government's position on striking doctors, saying they can only engage the doctors on new terms.
Wala ambao walihusika tunataka tu haki itendeke. Hatuhitaji jambo lingine.
Chebororwa residents in Uasin Gishu County stormed Chebororwa Agricultural Training Center to protest the killing of a man allegedly by the facilities enforcement officers. Once again, good afternoon. Welcome on board. Like I mentioned earlier, this is TV47 News Now Afternoon News Bulletin. Let us bring you up to speed with the latest from across the country for the better part of the day. Starting off, the wife of former Murang'a Governor Mwangi wa Iria, Jane Waigwe Kimani, and her brother Solomon Mutura Kimani have been arrested by EACC detectives over alleged graft. The two are suspects in the 140 million Kenya shillings Murang'a County government corruption case. The county government then under Wairia allegedly awarded publicity tenders to Top Image Media Consultancy Limited and Value View Limited without observing due process. Jane and his brother Solomon are directors of Top Image Media Consultancy, are said to have been used as to conduct for the fraudulent scheme. EACC is still pursuing the other 6 suspects, including the former governor who failed to honor the summons to appear before the EACC on Wednesday.
Ni labda ni officers. Chukua kila kitu. Sasa huyo
All right, we are still keeping tabs on that particular story. It is still developing. More details in our subsequent bulletin. Elsewhere, the National Assembly is currently debating the Defense and Foreign Relations Committee report on President William Ruto's 25 out of 27 nominees to various diplomatic posts. The House Committee has rejected Kenya's nominee to Goma, DRC, that is Charles Githinji, for being incompetent.
Appointing authority recalls any Consul General who is serving without requisite approval by the National Assembly to undergo the necessary approval process. As members of that opinion say aye. Aye. Will those of the contrary opinion say nay? Nay. The ayes have it. Honourable members, thank you, Honourable Kajwang, for that comic relief. We need some comic relief sometimes. Honourable members, will now go back to order number 7. And Majority Leader, if your minister is within the presence of Parliament, you may call her in. We'll now go to questions. And today, we have the Cabinet Secretary for Health, the Honorable Susan Nakhumicha. Yes.
All right, and just an update that the 25 out of the 27 diplomatic nominees by President William Ruto has been approved by Parliament. That means that signals that those 25 diplomatic nominees will head to various posts across the world to represent Kenya. Now, still on matters, President William Ruto, who graced the closing of the National Wage Bill Conference, challenging the stakeholders to have the 35% constitutional threshold of wage bill revenue ratio realized by the year 2027. The president says in order for this to be realized, tough and popular decisions must be made to avoid living beyond our means. The Salaries and Remunerations Commission chairperson Lynn Mengich on her part called for focus on the productivity side as well as use of less resources to achieve more.
Positions for the military, for the police, for this, for that. We must be deliberate about creating alternative pathways to employment. Public service is not a place for employment. We must build alternative, and that is why, deliberately, as a government, we have said we're going to implement programs that will create opportunities for employment. And we are going to be deliberate, we are going to be intentional, and we are going to push hard. Under our housing program, our plan is to create 1 million jobs. We are at 140,000 as I talk to this audience. It is a program that we all agreed on. For example, housing was in the manifesto of Kenya Kwanza, it was in the manifesto of Azimio. When it got to implementation, it was a problem. Why? Because we want to be popular. When you know what the right thing is, we are going to be intentional and deliberate because it is the way we are going to create jobs and not load on Kenyans under the public service. Number 2, we've changed the law. I have signed a new law I've signed the new legislation into law. We're going to create opportunities in the.
All right, you'll have to keep tabs with TV47 subsequent bulletins because 9 resolutions have, stakeholders in that particular conference have come up with 9 resolutions to deal with the wage bill headache. Now, to something close to living within our means, but still matters salary, Health Cabinet Secretary Susan Nakumicha has insisted that the government will engage the striking doctors on new terms. The Cabinet Secretary, who appeared before the Senate this morning, said the collective bargaining agreement, that is CBA, that the doctors are referring to elapsed in the year 2021. Nakumicha also called on the Senate to intervene to end the crisis.
To the government being on strike, and they have explained that this is because the CBA was not implemented from 2017 to date. The different areas that need to take responsibility. We have matters for the national government, we have matters that are cross-cutting, we have matters of county government. Speaker and honorable members, I want to confirm that of the 6 issues that pertain to the national government, we have addressed them. The issue of postgraduate fee arrears, that has been addressed with the release of 200 million from National Treasury for payment. The issue of basic salary arrears within the CBA. As for the doctors who work within the national government, that aspect has been met. And in fact, there is an overpayment. And now the government is asking, what do we do with the overpayment of the arrears to the doctors? The issue of CBA between KMPDU and Kenyatta National Hospital was waiting concurrence from Salary and Remuneration Commission. That has already been done. The issue of CBA between Moi Teaching Referral Hospital and KMPDU, That has already been finalized. It was a matter in court and a decision was already passed. The issue of CBA between Kenyatta University Teaching and Research Hospital and KMPDU, the CBA is now ready. Kenyatta University Teaching and Referral Hospital has called the unions to go and discuss and negotiate on the CBA. So, Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members, on matters pertaining to the national government, progress has been made. The only sticky issue is the stipend. And Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members, I want to ask of this House that as for that stipend, we are asking that if the interns, and should they accept that, then they open room for negotiation that government has offered. They have not come to the table to tell us that, no, we will not take that, we want this. That must be.
In other news, President William Ruto has directed Roads Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen to do everything possible to reduce road crash in the country. Speaking during the launch of the National Road Safety Action Plan 2024 up to the year 2028, the head of state also tasked the Cabinet Secretary to roll out instant road fines in the next 3 months. The president also challenged the police and the NTSA to put their differences aside and work together to address the crisis facing the transport sector.
We all must recognize the importance of road safety and remain mindful of the fact that reckless behavior endangers both perpetrators and innocent third parties. Consequently, we must henceforth implement a zero-tolerance approach to negligence on our roads and enforce the traffic laws and regulations to their fullest extent in order to promote safety, order, and efficiency on our road transport system. The National Police Service shall ensure that there are no exceptions from compliance, regardless of whether you operate border, heavy commercial vehicles, school transport, or any other vehicle on our roads. The government is committed to support the implementation of the National Road Safety Action Plan by providing resources, addressing legal and regulatory gaps, enhancing the capacity of the National Police Service to enforce traffic laws, and investing in automation and digitization of law enforcement and traffic management, among other interventions. I take this opportunity to appreciate the considerable support we have received from development partners, including the World Bank, the European Union, and the African Development Bank. I also urge potential partners to come aboard and take part in this noble mission to keep our people safe on our roads. I also look forward to seeing other organizations, including institutions of higher learning, join this collaboration to strengthen the use of evidence-based strategies and conduct research into various dimensions of road safety and road use behavior. Road safety is a shared responsibility which requires the execution of an all-of-society strategy throughout the country on a sustainable basis. I urge all Kenyans to observe road safety and report violations as part of their civic duty under community policing. Do not travel in overloaded vehicles and use the earliest opportunity to make sure that you report speeding or recklessly driven vehicles. The police must collaborate with citizens and ensure that dangerously driven public service transport vehicles reimburse fares upon arrest. We are determined to transform Kenya's road transport system from sites of frequent carnage into an efficient network that drives productivity and competitiveness, because it is our intention to make sure that travelers reach their destinations and Kenyans travel safely in pursuit of opportunities to all places at all times. The collaboration that I see here from the Matatu Owners Association, those who are in the Association of Drivers, the ministry, and all actors, is a collaboration that will give us the opportunity to succeed, and not just succeed in a big way. So I look forward to 1 year from now, we will have another meeting. And in that 1 year from now, Kipchumba Murkomen, you better come and report to us that the numbers are coming down. Otherwise, you will be in a lot of trouble. The first National Safety Action Plan 2024-2028 is officially launched. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
With few days remaining before President William Ruto officially opens Bunge Towers for members of Parliament, Nandi Senator Samson Cherargei is calling for a postponement, saying the building is not fully constructed. Speaking to journalists outside the Parliament building, Cherargei has called for investigations seeking to find out how much money was used to construct the building that has taken almost 14 years before its completion. It is alleged the building has cost taxpayers almost 9.6 billion Kenya shillings.
Lazima ukuwe na cheti fulani ambazo zinakukubalia uoccupy those. So nawauliza watumie their own wisdom. Ya pili ni kuhusiana, kuna maofisi mingi, iko intercontinental offices, ziko ofisi za ambazo ni KICC zimekodishwa, siko ofisi katika bunge. Wale haitakane kuwa kuna wabunge wanataka kupoteza marupurupu. Hawana hata hizo ofisi hazitoshi bunge, kwa sababu wabunge ni 350. Bunge la Seneti ni 67. Zile ofisi ambazo zimepatikana hapo, kama bunge la Senate limepewa karibu 50 na kitu. So kwanza hilo jengo alitoshelezi mahitaji ya ofisi. Hata secretariat wataendelea kufanya kazi katika corridors, kwa sababu the demand is still very high.
Away from that, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has called to order government officials and agencies over too much talk with less implementation of government policies and strategies. These as development partners call for accountability to donor funding that the state receives. The inadvertent admission by the second in command, noting that too many and expensive boardroom meetings have yielded little, especially for the common mwananchi, putting into question strategies put in place by the Kenya Kwanza government.
It aligns with our administration's main development priorities for the economy and society. In particular, the UN Kenya's focus on public-private partnerships, the push for job creation, support for the youth, and the green transition of Kenya's economic development. The government is driving the agenda of our entities to deliver a whole government approach for the good of our people. This ambition corresponds with that of the UN family to deliver by pooling resources for more transformative impact of the UN activities in Kenya. I recognize and welcome that UN Kenya is moving away from smaller individual agency projects to a more joint UN action with pooled funding. Further, I commend the UN Kenya for the strategic set of joint programs being developed by line ministries and UN entities together with a wide range of stakeholders. These UN-supported joint programs cover priorities that go hand in hand in glove with the bottom-up economic transformation agenda and the recently launched MT4. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen from the UN family and from our government, together we build a Kenya with a conducive environment for public and private sector to work together through innovative partnerships. A Kenya where economic development is not a short-sighted and linear, but on sound management of natural resources in an increasingly circular economy within the planetary boundaries. A climate-positive economic growth and development trajectory.
All right, now from that, let's head to the Rift Valley region, whereby angry residents of Chebororwa in Uasin Gishu County stormed Chebororwa Agricultural Training Center to protest the killing of a man who allegedly succumbed to injuries after being attacked by the county law enforcement officers manning the facility. The deceased, Simon Ekaran, had trespassed into the facility to graze his sheep allegedly. Angry residents and leaders want action taken against the enforcement officers, even as they called for justice for the family. The residents have complained that the law enforcers often take matters into their own hands most of the time, with this not being the first instance of assault.
Na uchungu sana na niko na mtoto wangu anaenda form 1 mwaka kesho, ndio tukule na huyu mtu, ndio tuoge na huyu mtu, na amekuja kwa aso hapo Chebororwa. Alafu mtu anakuja kukonga na ako na kondo, si anga mstaka malifanya makosa. Na kuna kitu ya mtu yenye aliiba.
Kuna watoto tunalea sio wetu kama wana baba. Sababu ya hii ATC. Hakuna mama amepikwa, lakini sana wanaume wanapikwa na uwao, lakini mama anaporwa.
Vile vile wala ambao walihusika tunataka tu haki itendeke. Hatuhitaji jambo lingine.
Watu wengi hawatasema kwa hiyo muda yote kama serikali hawataingilia kati.
Immediately umesikia kuna mtu amekufa kwa mkono yako, you are supposed to notify IPOA immediately. Immediately. Na tunajua hajafanya, tumetoka Eldoret tumefuatilia mambo, hajafanya. Huyo CS naye afunguliwe mashtaka na astakiwe.
All right. Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Mithika Linturi has assured farmers that fertilizer being distributed by the government is genuine and it should be used by farmers to improve farm yields. Linturi visited Kilifi County NCPB depot and was accompanied by Kilifi North Member of Parliament Owen Baya, who said that if the government put more revenue on local industries such as the coconut and cashew nuts industry, many people will be able to get employment. Baya added that for a long time, Kilifi County has not been receiving fertilizer nor seeds from the national government, but through the Kenya Kwanza administration, more than 4,000 farmers have received the fertilizer.
Mheshimiwa mbunge wenu amesema watu wa Kilifi walipanda mahindi wakasalisha mahindi mingi hapa. Wana Owen Baya. Watu wako waambie wakuja wachukue fertilizer. Sababu fertilizer hapa. Waachane na hiyo story na propaganda ya watu ambaye hawataki wa Kenya waende mbele. Wachukue fertilizer, kile ndio kwa hindi wakisalisha chakula kingi zaidi. Sababu unajua niko na pia na ule mpango wa kupeana dryers ya kukausha mahindi ili tuweze kuhakikisha ya kwamba we manage post harvest losses. Na pia serikali inaweka njundi ya kuhakikisha kuna mbegu, kuna fertilizer. Kuna wale wengine hawakutaka kusikia na ambao hawakututakia mema. Sababu kila wakati walikuwa wanasema unga. Sababu bei ya unga ilikuwa shilingi 240.
Kilifi ilikuwa haipati mbolea. Before you started this program, nobody thought Kilifi needed fertilizer. Nobody thought Kilifi needed certified seeds. Lakini sasa toka hii serikali ingie katika mamlaka for the second time now, Kilifi imepata fertilizer kutoka kwa serikali. Tumepata mbegu ya sunflower kutoka kwa serikali. Leo hapa tuko na fertilizer nyingi sana. According to the depot manager anasema at least 4,000 farmers wa hapa Kilifi North wamechukua mbolea.
Tunaomba waziri pia sababu wakulima wako na shida ya miche ya kupanda. Tumemwomba leo na ametuahidi ya kwamba atasaidia farmers na miche na tutapanda miche zaidi sababu shida tumekuwa nayo ni ya kukosa korosho za kutosha, so unapata orders tunazopata saa ingine hatuwezi kuzipeana zote.
Right, from Kilifi, let's go to the other side of the country, whereby hundreds of traders and Juakali workers at Steady Kisa Market in Sabatia Sub-County, that is Vihiga County, are now stranded following the demolition of their stalls, which they claim were brought down by an individual claiming ownership of a parcel of land which the county government also claims to own. Speaking to TV47, the traders led by their chairperson Elphas Amugune narrated how a group of young men invaded their stalls early morning with the aid of a bulldozer, demolishing stalls ahead of a court hearing between the traders and the private investor.
Mtu mwenye alikuja akaniambia uko kwa shamba yangu. Mimi kila mara nalipa kaunti ushuru na nimejua hii ni shamba ya mali ya serikali. Sasa nimekuja hapa nikakuta vitu zangu kioski yangu imebomolewa na vitu vilikuwa hapa zaidi ya 200,000. Yaani wamenirudisha nyuma, sina mbele wala nyuma. Na nimekopa loan. Nilikuwa nimekopa loan wa Kenya Women 100,000 nimeweka stock. Yaani jameni, serikali sijui nifanye nini. Niko tu vile mnaniona hivi, nimebaki bure from 0 mpaka 0. Saa 9 wamekuja wamebeba vitu zetu, wamebomoa. Na ile gari ya kufanya hivi ilikuwa inafanya tu ngo na kurudi hivi. Ngo na mabati zimebondeka. Kioski yangu nilijengea 80,000. Sina, mabati yote imebondeka.
Jamaa walikuwa wanaenda tu anakanyaga tu hapa na pale. Wakati tumeona sasa hiyo nini inaanza tu kuvunja vitu. Inavunja vibanda zetu. Imevunja mashini yangu. Imevunja hiyo fridge ambayo nilikuwa nauzia soda ndani. Imevunja mpaka mashini hata za mzee alikuwa anafanyia kazi. Sasa tunashindwa. Hii serikali inatusaidia ama tutafanya aje? Ama watangojea wakati wa kura ndio watatutafuta?
Hapa ni mamilioni ya pesa, watu wako zaidi ya 50 kwa hii kipande. Haka kipande kanapatia wamama